that.
New South Wales Peak Business Organisation is calling for the Reserve Bank to cut rates today to nurture a pre-Christmas rebound in business optimism. The Business Conditions Survey by the New South Wales Business Chamber and Commonwealth Bank revealing business operators are more positive heading into the crucial year-end trading period, but the improvement in sentiment remains fragile. Let's get some more on this. We're joined now by Damien Kelly from the New South Wales Business Chamber, joining us from our Sydney CBD studio. Damien, just take us through why this rate cut is so badly needed today. Damien, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Oh, good. Just wanted to ask you why you are calling for this rate cut today. Why is it so important?
Well, it is important because we're leading into the busiest time of the year, certainly for a number of our members in the retail sector, certainly, and the Christmas period is one which can stimulate a lot of industries, and the RBA can send a signal today that they understand the pain that's being felt, particularly in the small business sector, which employs so many Australians, and that's why we believe a rate cut today is not only necessary, but it's vital for the Australian economy.
Just take us through the most recent business conditions survey as well that you've done, because it did show that many business operators in New South Wales are more optimistic heading into the Christmas trading period.
Well, that's right, and New South Wales businesses probably take a glass half full attitude into these things, although it's the first time in a long time that they've actually been more optimistic than pessimistic, and what they believe is that the next quarter and then in turn the next year will be better than the previous quarter and the previous year. So there's a number of factors behind all of this, and certainly the RBA can reinforce that today by cutting interest rates, although it must be said that different parts of New South Wales have different levels of enthusiasm for the next quarter, particularly the Hunter region, which is actually more pessimistic than the rest of New South Wales.
But certainly when it comes to things like business conditions, sales revenue, profits, the optimism is there that they'll all return to positive territory?
Yeah, that's right, and that's what our businesses and our membership is saying right across New South Wales, that they believe that the next quarter and then in turn the next year will be better than the conditions that they're currently experiencing. So that is good news that that's what they feel on the ground. Now, whether that is just optimism, the business sector, by taking the risk and employing so many Australians, are naturally optimistic. So we hope that that actually transfers into sales and revenue for them and gives them the ability to put on more staff and create more jobs. Of course, the backdrop to 2013 is that it is a federal election year, so that there's more interest and more impact on the economy as well.
So sentiment though is still pretty fragile.
Oh, it is, and it's not great, but what they're saying is that it will be better. They believe it will be better than last quarter, but it's certainly not very high. They're just saying that they believe that the tide is starting to turn and it is going to get better, and that's why it's so important for the RBA to do what we hope they'll do and what we expect they'll do when they meet today, because of course that there's no RBA board meeting in January, so unless they have an extraordinary meeting and do cut rates in January, it's not going to be until February, and by which time it may be too late for a number of businesses right across New South Wales and in turn across Australia.
Just given that the global outlook obviously pretty uncertain, and also the Aussie dollar, I mean, still stubbornly firm around 104 US cents. What kind of toll is that taking on businesses? It's
taking a massive toll on businesses, and it's one of those things that rarely gets talked about, unfortunately, but the high Australian dollar, and it's been high for a long time, and many experts are arguing it's going to remain high for a longer period than initially thought. And that has a dramatic impact on Australian businesses, the ability to compete, the ability to export, and the level playing field that all businesses require. It's just not there for Australian businesses trying to break into overseas markets, and in turn it makes their products artificially high, and those that have an export bent are really doing it tough because of the high Australian dollar. And of course there is the carbon tax, which doesn't get talked about at the moment, but it is starting to impact on Australian businesses, and again it's another tax on business that's very hard for business owners to pass on to their customers.
And just finally, of course, we get some official labour statistics out Thursday, but there is a lot of concern about the labour market, although the official data seems to show that it's kind of holding near that full employment rate. What sort of evidence, what sort of stories are you hearing, anecdotal evidence are you hearing from your members about, you know, if they're hiring or firing?
Oh, look, they're certainly not hiring at the moment, and what we're finding, of course, the unemployment data that is released monthly, if you work for an hour each month, you're not actually classed as unemployed, and what we're finding is that a number of businesses and a number of our member businesses throughout New South Wales are actually reducing the number of hours that their staff work. They don't actually have to formally lay them off, but they are reducing the number of hours because the work isn't there. What is important to realise is that the small and medium-sized business community across Australia employs 7 million Australians. That's 40 times more than the mining sector, yet the small and medium-sized business community's voice is rarely heard. We're looking to change that in 2013.
Damien, thanks so much for your time.
A pleasure.
Stay with us. Coming up on First Business, that manufacturing readout of the US overnight hitting its lowest level since 2009. We'll get some more on the market reaction to that with Peter Cook from Performance Trust